Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Techgig webinar series. Our topic for today's session is what's new in IBM Rational ClearCase 8.0, and we have with us today Mr. Avinash Srinivas Murthy. He is a technical expert with IBM Rational Software. Avinash is an accelerated value leader for a major telecom and a banking client. He also performs the role of technical support specialist for ClearCase. With a master's degree in software systems, he has 7 years of experience in the IT industry, mainly in the configuration management domain. He has been actively involved in the ClearCase implementations and the upgrade assistance program for key customers. So before I hand over today's session to Avinash, here is a quick listing for all the attendees. We will be taking in questions during the last 15 minutes of today's session, but however, feel free to send me the questions during the presentation. And in case if there is any problem in terms of the audio quality, in terms of, if there is a transitional problem, please feel free to drop me a message as well while the presentation is on. So I will now hand over the session to Avinash. Avinash, I'm giving you the presenters right now.
Okay, Sri Lagna. Hello.
Yes, Avinash, we can now view your screen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, shall we start off?
Sure, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Sri Lagna. Hello all. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you all for making some time and joining in for today's session. So today we are here to talk about the new or the latest features that are available in 8.0 and also discuss about how you can plan for an upgrade when you are moving from an older version of ClearCase to the newer. As Sri Lagna already told, I'm from the ClearCase support team, so if you have any queries pertaining to any upgradation or any new features if you want, then always you can drop an email to me or to my support ID, which I'll be sharing at the end of the presentation. So without any delay, let's start off with today's session. So this is just a disclaimer about the details that we are sharing today is confidential. Coming to the agenda, we will discuss briefly about what is SCM and how you can use ClearCase in the SCM domain, and then I would be introducing you to the new and the latest features that are available in 8.0. After that, why ClearCase 8.0? Why do you have to go to 8.0? What are the new options and features that you can leverage after upgrading to 8.0? We'll also discuss about the planning that you can do for upgrading to 8.0. Then we will discuss about the tech notes and the documentations that you can refer for the upgradation. Also, I would brief you about the upgrade assistance program that we are conducting from the IBM Rational ClearCase support team. I would also share with you the details about a couple of other upcoming open mics or the tech talks that we are planning in future, and then we can have the question and answer session if you have any queries. Moving on, I believe most of you are already aware about what is configuration management. I just want to touch base for any newbies or who are new to the configuration management domain. We are on slide 4 for reference. So To just give a brief, configuration management is all about managing your versions, codes, and the products that you are developing in your day-to-day activities. I'm sure that everybody would be doing one or the other changes on their source code, maybe whatever tool you are using. So it's very important to identify and store all your artifacts and the files and directories or the installers onto a repository, which will also help you in controlling the audit-related activities, which will also help you in creating certain baselines or project milestones as and when you are completing a project. And at the same time, you would also like to track the progress. And at any given point of time, you would want to record what are all files have gone into the source control, and hand in hand, you would also be having the defects which are raised against your product. So at any given point of time, you would want to understand what are the files or the code that is pertaining to this particular defect. So that tracking is also a major part of the configuration management. At the same time, you would also want to ensure that there is a proper build that is possible, and you would also want to integrate at regular intervals early and often in your development effort. So these are some of the main tasks that you would be targeting in a configuration management space. So how can ClearCase help you when you are looking at the SCM domain? So ClearCase is one of the industry-leading solutions from IBM Rational, which has a sophisticated version control, workspace management, and it will also help you in parallel development, which is one of the unique features in ClearCase, which is a multi-site feature in ClearCase. So why ClearCase? You would want to go to ClearCase because it has a lightweight client for you, which is very flexible. You can customize ClearCase to your core based on your project requirements. It is supported on a wide range of operating system and platforms where you can install your ClearCase. And it's a real-time access to all the source code that exists onto your WAB. WAB, when I say it is the repository where you will store all your source code related data. And it can scale to any size of development community or your team. It can also cater for a small work group. It can also cater for a big enterprise level of deployment. It has a very good integration with many of the IDEs like Eclipse, Visual Studio.NET. We also have recently introduced for Cadence. So it has integration with the leading IDEs. Majorly, the key thing is the parallel development, the multi-site that is present in ClearCase. So having all these, you can easily manage your software configuration management space in your organization. So having ClearCase, what all things are possible? It helps you in mitigating the cost and effectively working in a team to streamline the delivery process of your source code or the product at the end of the day. So this is possible by implementing the process. I think you all know in ClearCase we have the UCM, Unified Chain Management, which is tightly coupled with the process. And you can improve the efficiency of an individual and as well as the team productivity. This is possible by automating most of the processes, and you can script, you can code your own customizable triggers, builds and scripts, which will help you in increasing the delivery at the end of the day. And it will also help you in increasing the quality of the software or the product that you're delivering. This is because ClearCase implements most of the prominent and consistent industry proven best practices in the design, which will help you and make sure that you are not deviating from the best known practices at any given point of time. So these are the major advantages of using ClearCase. So this was for somebody who's new to ClearCase, so I think this would help them in understanding why and what is ClearCase and where it will help them. Going to the next slide. So what is the need for today? So when you speak to anybody or each and every person, they would always are looking for faster internet, faster delivery, speed trains. So whenever you speak with anyone, they want to get the works done as soon as possible. So the first thing is speed. So they would want to look speed at in anything or any product or any service that they are looking at. At the same time, performance. Nobody would want to compromise on the performance. Yes, we would need the speed, but we want it to be performing at a consistent level. So these are the main themes which we are concentrating in the latest version, that is ClearCase 8.0. That is the performance and the usability improvements that we have done in ClearCase 8.0. So it is fast, yes. It is slick, yes. And it's cool. It's cool because it has many of the latest or I can say great features which has been improvised and implemented into the latest version. So having said this, I would want to take you and introduce you to ClearCase 8.0. So the major highlights in the 8.0 release of ClearCase is the Clear Team Explorer, which is one of the state-of-the-art unified ClearCase client that is available in 8.0. So in this GUI, you can connect to multiple CM servers, and you can at the same time work with ClearCase and ClearQuest, which is coming from different servers. And it is designed in such a way that it is in par, or almost in par with the client. It is very light and very easy to be set up to begin with. The next one is the performance improvements that we have been looking at. So when I say performance, the major areas that we have concentrated is in the UCM performance and the WAN-based performance. In UCM, we have been able to get an improvement almost about 1.15 to 1.25 times when compared to the older versions, and in most of the cases it is more than 3 times faster compared to the older version. And coming to the WAN-based access, that is based on CTE and CCRC WAN, it is almost 25% faster compared to the older versions because we have been introducing the multi-threading concept in ClearCase 8.0. So that is a major contribution which has helped in improvising the performance. We also have super fast evil twin. So we have seen many customers having their own customized triggers that they have written for detecting and preventing the evil twin. So in 8.0, this is a built-in feature for you. And in 8.0, we have the new WAP schema and the feature level. The schema version is 80, and the feature levels that are available are 7 and 8. So coming to the next slide. In continuation, we also have something called as synchronous request for mastership in 8.0. Just to brief about this, in the existing version, whenever you are working on a multi-sited environment and if you have to check out a file, you would obviously need to have the local mastership. And when you don't have a mastership, you would do rec master to get it from the remote site. So until the sync happens and you receive the local mastership, you are not allowed to go ahead with the checkout. So that is a constraint that we have identified. So that can be overcome by this new feature of synchronous request for mastership. So here what you do is you will request for mastership, but immediately you will get an access or permission to go ahead with your checkout. And only once the sync happens and you receive the local mastership, then you can go ahead with checking in and saving your changes. So there is no need for you to wait until the sync has happened to receive the mastership. And the other thing is preservation of microsecond timestamp. In 8.0, the timestamp consistency has been improved to microsecond level. So this makes sure that you would be able to track the timestamp up to the microsecond level. So by this, the builds that you run, the audits that you make would be very accurate and very sophisticated, because you are also tracking the decimal part of the timestamp in whatever file changes that you are doing. We also have a seamless integration with most of the JAS-based products. I believe most of you know that JAS is the futuristic tools that are being provided from IBM, like the CLM-based, CDM-based, or the SSE solutions like RTC, RRC, and the RSA tools. So we have a very good integration with all these JAS-based products if you are looking for implementing the project management along with your SCM domain. And as already told, we also have a very good integration which is coming, which is being developed with Cadence, which is a leading tool in the EDA domain, that is electronic design and automation domain. We also have access control list, the new way of implementing it in 8.0. I would be talking more about this in the future slides. And we also have enhanced rcleartool. Rcleartool is again the CLI that is available with your CCRC. So we have made a major improvement in the number of commands that are available and the way you run the rcleartool. So having said that, let's get deep into the ClearTeam Explorer. So ClearTeam Explorer is nothing but your CCRC, which was present in 7.1.2. So that has been called as ClearTeam Explorer, majorly because in the present GUI you can connect to both your CM server, that is the CCRC server, and also to your CQ Web in the same GUI. So that acts as the ClearTeam Explorer, and it has very good features like this supports the dynamic view lately, but for using the dynamic view you need to have the MVFS installed. So this is a major advantage because you can use CTE Eclipse-based GUI, a thinner client version on a LAN-based network. And how do you see the GUI going forward? So going forward, you can see many more usability improvements, parity enhancements, and we are looking at replacing the native GUIs over time, because the CTE-based access would be more faster as it is a HTTP-based protocol. When we say parity enhancements, we are making sure that each and every options and commands that are available on your native client would also be seen on your CTE. So we are looking at reducing that gap between the CTE and the TIC client. We have added support to many of the latest Eclipse-based platforms into our CTE, and it has excellent integration with third-party tools like Visual Studio.NET, Mylan, and it also has an integration with IBM products like RTC and CQ, which has been existing earlier also. Using CTE, you can also do the ACLs or the ACLs implementation and administrating it. This also has improved or a very good integration with the logical modeling tools like the RSA and RTE. So you can also do an integration with them. We are on slide 11. So here we will, you can see the difference between typical CTE compared to your older 7.1.2 ClearCase and the 8.0 series of ClearCase. This would play a major role in your UCM integrated setup, wherein earlier it was a requirement to install ClearQuest onto your CM server in order to work with a UCM based setup. But in 8.0, ClearQuest is no longer needed to be installed onto the CCRC WAN server. This can easily use the OSLC based integration and still work. So to go hand in hand with this, the GUI has also undergone a reconstruction, wherein earlier in 7.1.2 you can see in the first snapshot towards your left, you see that both ClearCase nodes and ClearQuest node, both are coming from the same server URL. But towards your right, which is the CTE, Clear Team Navigator, you will see there are individual or separate nodes for each and every URL that you are willing to access. Maybe it is from the same server also. So having this change, this will also affect your upgrade scenarios, because you can individually upgrade your ClearCase server or ClearQuest server based on your requirement and feasibility. Moving to the next slide. Here you can see the difference or the features that was existing in CM server earlier and now. In 7.0, CM server was having both CC/CQ bundled together as a single profile in the CM server, but here we have decoupled it into two different profiles, one separate for CCRC, and you can individually or separately install a different profile for your CQ web. And we also have a new URL for CCRC, and this has a very linear architecture which has helped in improving the performance of the CCRC WAN server as it is. And you also have a flexibility, like if you're doing a new installation or when you're planning for an upgrade, you also have a option of creating the new profile, or you can also reuse an existing profile. This has majorly this advantage is coming because of decoupling the WAS profile from the installer. Earlier in 7.1, the WAS was getting installed along with the ClearCase product, but now in 8.0 onwards, the WAS installation has to be done separately. So that gives you an advantage of managing your new profiles. Either you can reuse the existing ones or you can create new ones during the installation. So that gives you an ease of implementation in case of an upgrade scenario. To give more information about the performance on WAN server, the major improvement is in the loading and updating of the web views. In older version, the web view load was happening using a serial process, but now we are implementing the parallel process. So when I say serial or parallel, in old style, that is in the 7.1 series, there used to be one network connection for loading your metadata and the file contents, and another connection for committing the changes that you do on your client to the view DB. So there used to be two connections which were happening serially. Whereas in the newer version, that is 8.0, you will have one network connection for metadata and several other connections which will parallelly spawn for loading all your file contents. So due to this, there would be an overlapping of the transfer and the metadata computation, which will reduce the total elapsed time for loading your web view. And there would be one separate connection for committing the records to the DB. So this is a major change which I was talking about, the multi-threading, which has helped in improving the performance of the CCRC WAN server drastically compared to the older version. So we are on slide 14. In this, we discuss about the rcleartool, which is the CLI for your CTE, and the details which I will be mentioning. This is available from FixPack 3 of 8.0. Earlier, while installing CCRC, you had to separately install the CLI binary from the IBM website, but in 8.0.03 onwards, you will get it bundled along with the CTE or the CCRC installations that you do. So there is no separate installation needed. And also you might have observed that earlier you had to pass the username and the password credentials each and every time when you're running the CLI command. So this was an overhead. But in the latest version, you just need to run it one time, and you can go on running the commands without passing the credentials as long as the user session is active. So this is a major improvement. And also you get to implement the trigger using the CLI. So trigger support has been added into the CLI options, and your CLI can now work on a security enabled setup like SSL or a proxy enabled setup. And now rcleartool also gives the option of graphical diff and merge options, which was not present in the earlier version. So again, telling these options are available in FixPack 3 of 8.0 onwards. So till now we discussed about CTE, CCRC WAN server, and the CLI. So coming to the core of ClearCase and pertaining to thick client, what are the major changes and improvements? One is definitely about the schema version and the feature level. So in 8.0 we have the schema 80, and the feature levels that are available are 7 and 8. Feature level 8 is available from 8.0.1 onwards. So when there is a feature level change, the features that you can get compared to the older versions or the new features which you can get are one already that I've told, that is the evil twin. So here we have the built-in feature which will act instead of your customizable triggers, which will help in identifying and preventing the evil twins that are created on your WAB. And in 8.0 you have the multiple schema support. So when we say multiple schema, this option would help you when you are doing or executing the upgrade, because when you perform an upgrade, obviously your WABs would be at a older schema version, that is 54. So as soon as you upgrade, it's not possible for you to reformat your WAB and increase the schema level to 80. So you would need some time. So in 8.0 there is no constraint for you, because the 8.0 would support both the schema 80 and schema 54 WABs. So once you upgrade, you can take your time, plan your downtime, and then properly you can reformat your WAB and increase the schema level from 54 to 80. And in 8.0 ClearCase, there is also availability of UTF format of element types, which used to be the customized element types in 7.1 series. And there are many other additional integration features that are available with RTC in the latest version. So in this slide we will talk about the ACLs, that is the access control lists. So ACLs are one of the integral part of ClearCase, I can say, because based on this itself you would get access to read, write, or modify any of the elements that are present on a WAB. So what were the challenges that you were facing? Even we were getting regular PMRs or requests from customers. The major challenge was whenever you are trying to implement any group-based policies in your setup, because of the constraint at the OS level, that is based on your OS, whether it is Unix-based or Windows-based, there would be a constraint of 16 or 32 groups that a particular user can be part of. This was a major constraint. And also there was an overhead of managing and administrating multiple groups that you need to create, multiple accesses that you had to give for each and every user when there was a new group created. And for any restrictions, you had to create your own triggers. So managing and administering the trigger was a very big overhead compared to your normal other admin related activities. So in 8.0 we have simplified this process by the new method of ACLs, which is very flexible and very easy to manage. So there is no need for you to create exceptional triggers, no need to switch the primary groups each and every time. This ACL being the built-in, it will naturally act whenever there is a ClearCase operation performing, and it will, in most of the cases it will obsolete the custom-based triggers that you have written in your existing environment. So in this slide, let's just take a use case, simple use case. For example, in your existing environment, let's say you had 3 different components, X, Y, and S. And you had to give access, read, write, and read-only access, complete access, specifically for people who are from individual groups. So you would go on creating 3 different groups, Group X, Group Y, and Group S. Let's say there is one user who is part of Group X, and he would need complete access to the component X. So you would obviously add him to Group X, and he would also need read-only access to read-only access to the component S. So you would add him to Group S. Since you have to restrict him from doing changes and modifications or performing the checkouts, you would create an explicit trigger, which could be a no checkout trigger. Similarly, let's say there is another user who needs complete access on component Y and read-only to component S. So you would add him to Group Y and Group S, both the groups, and also create an additional trigger. And let's say there is one user who needs complete access on component S. So you will add him to Group S. So he will get all the access on the component S. Then comes the build user. In most of the cases, he will need to access all the components for running your builds, for creating the binaries, but you might not want him to give the modification access to him. So you might want to give only read-only. So in such a scenario, you would go on adding him to the individual groups pertaining to each and every component. So just in the simple example that we took, we have added him to all the 3 groups. So build user is in all the 3 groups. So in a practical situation, you can easily visualize a case wherein there is a requirement for you to add the build user in more and more groups, which can easily cross the constraint that is at the OS level. Let's say more than 16 groups or more than 32 groups based on the number of components, number of domains you might have. So this is the major problem that we are tackling in the ClearCase 8.0. So till now we discussed about how you would implement in the existing older versions, that is 7.1.2. Let's come to the new way of ACLs. So in 8.0, you would have to implement 2 things. One is called as the role, and the other is the policy file. So in roles, you would be defining each and every role that is specific to a component. And in the policy file, you would go on specifying what access would you want to give for each and every role. So for example, let's say component X. So the role file would have 2 entries, that is Group X and Group B. And the policy file would be edited in such a way and make an entry saying that Group X will have full permission and Group B will be having the read permission. So you will have to run the protect command and apply this combination of the role and the policy file on each and every file element or on the directory level, whichever you want, as per your requirements. So let's see in the use case that we have been discussing. So after defining the roles and the policy, once we apply the combination of it, we see that the user who was part of the Group X, he will get full access to component X, because as per the role-based policy or the role and the policy combination, the Group X will have full permission. And the same role-based combination on component S will show that the person who is part of Group X should just have the read access. So by applying this combination, we have made sure that we are satisfying the same requirement as earlier, and the person is only part of one group. Similarly, we would do the same implementation for a person who is in group Y. And going ahead, similarly, you would have to add the person in group S so that based on the role-based policy implementation, he will get the complete access on the component S. Now coming to the interesting part, the build user. So we already have seen that in the role file we have defined group B, and in the policy we have given read permission for this particular role in all the policy files. So the build user will be added only to the group B, but effectively he is getting the read access on all the components. So in this way you can simplify the group and group-based policies that you want to implement in your environment, and also make sure that there is no need of implementing, creating and applying the custom-based triggers, and you can also get a higher limit of groups per element and per user. So this is achievable by implementing the new role-based, policy-based combination that is provided in the ACLs for ClearCase 8.0. So earlier I talked about the evil twin. So this is one of the tests that we have done in our labs. So we have tried to compare the performance of a custom-based trigger or a manually written trigger. We compared 3 things here. The blue one is one of the triggers, and the one which you see in yellow, that is the built-in or the evil twin feature that is available in 8.0. So you can easily see that it is taking less than 1.3 seconds or 1.5 seconds in both the cases. So there is a major improvement in terms of the feature of applying the evil twin feature by upgrading to 8.0, and you can efficiently detect and prevent the risk of having an evil twin created compared to the custom-based triggers. This is a snapshot of one of the performance comparison that we done in the UCM operations. So the bars which you see in green, yellow and red are for the 8.0 series, and the one in blue, that is for the older version, that is 7.1.2. So it's clearly seen in 7.1.2 there was the same range or the same performance level for all the commands. But in 8.0 onwards, there has been a major improvement in most of the UCM-based operations, and in some operations we have been able to get a performance which is double the one that is present in 7.1.2 series of ClearCase. In this slide, this talks about the comparison of performance on a WAN-based activity when you are using the CCRC WAN server. So in slide 1, this shows the time that it has taken for loading a web view, and this has been checked or compared on different platforms. Like here we have compared on Windows, Linux and Spark, and on an average we have been able to get about 35% of a gain compared to the older version of 7.1.2. And in screenshot 2, you can see the response time comparison of the web view in terms of the bandwidth that is available on your network. We have done this test in our labs, wherein this clearly shows that there has been a drastic improvement in the response time. When I say that it has taken a very lesser time to load a particular web view on a varying bandwidth that is available on your WAN. So having said all these main features, so what are the key things that you will have to keep in your mind? Why do you have to go to ClearCase 8.0? Just recapping, faster UCM operations, faster web views, and easy to set up in the beginning. And the other main thing is ClearCase 7.1 is going end of support in the next year, that is in the April. So we would request all our customers to get onto the supported version, that is 8.0 series, as soon as possible, so that you are on a supported version and you would be able to leverage all these fantastic features that we have been presenting till now. So again, I wanted to reiterate that 7.1 is going end of support because it has reached the normal 5 years of support life cycle. It will go end of support in the next year of April. So please plan for your upgrade on your existing older ClearCase versions and get onto the supported version as soon as possible. So all throughout the year, right from beginning, we have been telling and advocating and recommending our users to get onto a supported version. So when we say upgrade, the main or the first question is, how do we upgrade? How do we plan? We have seen many cases, many PMRs from different customers who are finding it difficult because there has been a change in the way you install compared to your older version, the way you deploy your latest version. So we just wanted to share some of the best practices or the references that you can have and try to plan for an upgrade so that it will help in having a seamless upgrade in case of your organizations. So the key things that you will have to look before beforehand when it's about upgrade is, first thing is the requirement gathering. Then you need to decide upon the approach that you will follow for the upgrade. Then you will finally do a backup of all your ClearCase data. Then comes the execution. You will perform the upgrade literally, and then you need to test for the successful upgrade. So when we say requirement gathering, what do you have to do? You need to check the hardware compatibility, software compatibility, because in most of the cases which we have dealt till now, we have seen that the customers are running on older hardware, which is very low on memory, which is low on disk space, and which is running non-supported or non-compatible versions of third-party integrations. So it's very important for you to understand what is the supported hardware and the supported software compatibility when you're planning for an upgrade. And then comes the customizations. You would have done scripting, triggers, and the job schedulers that you have done. So you need to plan to see what all things you have applied on your WAB and what needs to be backed up. Then comes the WAB and view data. You need to see what is the size of the WAB, what are the number of views, because it's always better to decommission all the non-used or the unused views, because views are always the temporary entities. Once you are done with your work, once you are done with a particular build, it's better to remove that view, decommission, and you're not carrying the unwanted data at least onto your new setup. Then comes the user base. You need to see what is the user base that you're targeting at. What are the number of users? Where are they located? What kind of access do you need to give them during the upgradation? And what are the ClearCase components involved, first of all? So do you have multi-site? Do you have the CCRC WAN component? You need to plan for all these. And what are the client OSs? Because in many cases you might have a varied number of platforms or operating systems that is available for the users. So you need to plan for those operating systems also, because one of the examples is Windows XP is gone out of support. So you obviously, in most of the IT departments in many companies, they would be pushing you to go to Windows 7. So when you go to Windows 7, it's always good to track and see what are the older operating systems and what are the new operating systems that you can do go to and what is the supported ClearCase versions onto the new operating system. So you will also have to keep your end users in your mind when you're planning for an upgrade. So once you are done with all your requirement gathering, then comes about what approach will you follow for performing the upgrade. In most of the cases, multi-site approach is very easy and it takes a lesser downtime, because let's say that you are running your older version on one of the servers and you're planning to procure a new server and then do a setup onto your new server. So you can create a replica to your target server, and once the replication has done and when you are registered all the WAPs and when it is available onto your new server, you can finally ask your users to start accessing the WAP data on the new server. So in this duration of time when the upgrade is happening, there is a minimum downtime. Your users can still be accessing the WAP data on your existing server or the older version. Or if it is on the same server upgrade that you're doing, then that would involve uninstalling the older version and reinstalling the newer version. So you need to think about it before performing the upgrade about what approach will you follow. Is it a multi-sited approach or a non-multi-sited approach? In case of a non-multi-sited, you will take backup of your WAP directories, views, triggers, customizations, and uninstall the older version, reinstall, and register everything back. Once you have gathered your requirement, decided on the approach that you will follow, then comes the main thing, that is about backing up the data, critical data on ClearCase. That's the WAPs, views. It's very important to take a good backup. When I say good backup, it is very important. It is dependent on the tool that you are using, because in most of the cases you might have a proprietary backup tool or a third-party tool. You need to make sure that this tool is capable of retaining the ACLs of the ClearCase when it is backing up, and it needs to back up all the files which are open for write. If not, if these things are not kept in place, then the backup that you're taking is not a consistent one. So make sure that you're completing all the check-in operations and you're performing all the deliveries, rebases completely. Lock your WAP, make sure there are no checkouts, and you clean up all your activities and then copy the data. And if you say that you do not have a tool and if you're just doing a OS-based copy, then you can use the Xcopy utility that is given from IBM. This is very important because Xcopy makes sure that it is retaining the ACLs. At the end of the day, it is important to retain the ACLs. If not, after taking the backup and when you're trying to register, you will face many permission-related issues. So it's very important to plan about what kind of method you will follow for backing up your data. So once you're done with the data backup, then comes the execution part. So in the execution phase, based on the new installation, like is it on a new server or an old server, you will do the new installation. And if you're using the CM component, that is the CCRC component, then you need to install the WAS for initially. After installing the WAS, you can create the profile in the beginning itself and then reuse it while the ClearCase installation. Or you can as well create the profile when you are performing the installation. So you have a flexibility. And if you have a multi-site, then you will have to replicate the WAPs if it is a new site, or you'll have to run commands like chreplica to make sure that there is a change in the host name whenever there is any changes in the host name if it is a new server. So once you're done with the installation and configuration part, also in multi-site, if you have a multi-site, you need to look at the shipping.conf file so that you make sure that there is a seamless transition of the packets. Restore all your WAPs. restore all your views, apply the triggers, apply the scripts that you have customized, create the jobs, scheduler jobs. Once you are done with restoring all the jobs, then you might have to do the integration setup. Especially if it is a OSLC based, then you'll have to run the CRM register, making sure that the ClearCase is talking correctly to the corresponding CQDB, and in 8.0 in a WAN based network there is another special file called the CQDB map file which you need to update. So there are a couple of things which you need to do in the execution part. Once the execution is finally done, test for the correct working, do some test checkouts, check-ins, deliveries, create some test packets, see if it is going through to the target server. And once everything is done, then you can communicate to your users saying that they're good to go and they can start using the new server. So this is the line in which you can plan for your upgrade and actually perform the execution. So as I already told, we have been getting many requests from the customers wherein they are having a lot of challenges in understanding the upgradation process and about the installation methods and the components that are present, about WAS, about IHS. So we saw that many of them are getting confused, having issues in understanding. So this year we have proactively started a program which is called the Upgrade Assistance Program. This applies both for ClearCase and ClearQuest. So in this program, what we are offering is from the IBM support, we are proactively looking at the clients, tracking and seeing who are the clients who are on the older version, trying to contact them and advise them, recommend them, give a brief about what are the new features available, and then suggest them to go on to an upgrade. And we are not ending at that level. We are also collaborating with them, integrating with them in a way that we will have regular update calls with them, their management, try to understand what is their requirement, what are all constraints they have, what is the existing setup, what are the new setup that they can procure. And in this stage, we will be sharing all the system requirements, hardware related data, software related data that they can plan for procuring. We would also help them in documenting these procedures, documenting the system requirements, and provide them relevant content so that they'll not have to manually go and check into our IBM sites about what are the known issues, if there are any known issues, and what is the upgrade procedure, what are the installation steps. So from support, we would be dedicating one particular resource who will be working hand in hand with that particular account or a client throughout the upgradation, and making sure that the upgradation process is seamless and it happens successfully without any major challenges. So this is one of the major programs that we are running this year. So the key thing is this program is available at no additional cost. So if you are one customer who is interested in upgrading your setup, then you can always drop an email to this support ID which you are seeing in the slide, and also you can drop an email to my manager Mamta. So even her email is here, so you can get into a dialogue with us and see what is the feasible time, and if you have any deadlines, we can start looking at it. We can help you out right from the requirement stage to up to the execution. So in between, if you have any issues, you can directly contact to the contact person, and we would help you out with the relevant data and make sure that you have a very pleasant experience during the throughout or the overall upgradation activity. So this was about the upgrade assistance program. And some of the upcoming open mics that we are planning are a detailed open mic or a detailed tech talk about the Clear Team Explorer, And we are also looking at the OSLC based integration between CC and CQ. We also introduced the ACL, so we would be giving more details about how you would implement ACLs, what are the ways of implementation, administrating ACLs, using the role and the policy-based combinations. So these are some of the topics. And if you feel that you would need any additional topics or additional information from us, you can always post a PMR, contact us, or you can always drop an email to the support ID requesting whichever topic or information that you are looking help from us. We would be very glad to help you on that. These are some of the reference links that talks about the system requirements, the product compatibility between third-party tools, and the WAS related versions, and many other information which will help you in the upgradation activity. So these are some of the main informations and tips and tricks that we wanted to share with you. So now we are open for any questions. So if you have any questions, then you can put it across so that we will be happy to help you and respond to you.
Thanks, Avinash. I've already shared a couple of questions with you. You will find them in your questions window.
Okay, the first one says, I'm new to ClearCase. Can you please suggest any documentations or trainings? Yes, from IBM there is a separate team or a wing that performs the trainings or the official trainings for the aspirants. And if you have a valid ICN, when I say ICN, it is the IBM customer number. If you need any documentation details, you can always post a PMR also with us so that we can help you out with the documentation details about ClearCase. And other question is there any cost involved for the upgrade from the early version? If yes, how much? Okay, so I believe this is more about the person is more looking at the license related cost. So when we say an upgrade, the licenses whichever you purchase, it is not version specific. So if you have a valid license for your older 7.12 version, and as long as you have an entitlement, you can always upgrade it to the newer version. So the key thing here is you need to have the entitlement for all the licenses that you own for the particular product. So there is no additional cost involved, or there is nothing like you need to procure new licenses, or by spending more you need to purchase new licenses for getting onto the latest ClearCase versions. So the licenses which you have is not version specific. The other question is the new version of OS are supported? So but here they have not specified what is the specific OS that they are looking at, because we have a tool called SPCR, that is the Software Product Compatibility Report. So this tool will help in generating a report on what all operating systems are supported with Rational ClearCase 8.0 or any version if you want. So you can check that tool, and if you have any difficulties and if you're not able to find this link, you can always send an email to the support ID with the ICN. We will be able to help you out with the information. Is parallel checkout option available? This is the next question. I'm not sure what they mean by parallel checkout, but one thing that is possible is, because checkout is very unique. When you do a checkout, there are two types of checkout. One is the reserve checkout. The other one is non-reserved. When we say a reserved checkout, a person who has done a reserved checkout, he would be having the permission to first save his changes and do a check-in. So until unless this first person does a check-in, the remaining people who would want to do a checkout, they would be having an unreserved checkout. They would not be able to check in their code. So these are two types of checkouts that is available in ClearCase. Apart from that, so these are some of the questions I saw on the question list, Sri Lagna.
Yes, Avinash. I'm pretty sure the attendees might have other questions as well, but since we are running out of time, maybe you can take them offline.
Sure.
And if you're comfortable, you can also give out your official email ID so that they can email it to you. Or the other option is they can email the questions to us and we'll post them over to you.
Sure, it would be great if you can consolidate all the questions at your level and send it across to us. We will get back individually to them.
Sure. Another thing which attendees can do, they can also come on techgig.com and post their questions in our discussion forum. And you can also log in to view those questions and probably answer them as well on the discussion forum. This is another option.
Sure, sure.
With that note,
and as I already mentioned, if they have a valid ICN,
right,
that is IBM customer number, they're always free to open any PMR with the support team. So we will be able to get back to them with any information or any upgrade related queries they have.
Okay, great.
That's the official way of getting the support from IBM.
Okay, I'm sure this will be helpful.
Yep.
All right, with that we come to the end of our session today. I would like to thank you, Avinash, for taking time out today and giving this presentation. And as I just mentioned, please feel free to drop us a mail with all the additional queries you might have, and we'll get the questions answered by Avinash and our team of experts. Thank you once again for attending today's session and for all the support. Thank you so much, Avinash. The recording version of today's session will be available by tomorrow morning on techgig.com. So request you all to come on techgig.com and have a look at today's session. Thank you so much, Avinash.
Okay. Thank you, Sri Lagna. Thank you all for attending today's session.